All right, and we're back. Welcome to the Northern Lights podcast. I'm your host, Stephen Eigenman, and I'm here with my friend Tanner Barris.
Howdy, welcome.
Good to see you, Tanner.
Yeah.
We got a special guest today, Brock Friesen.
Welcome.
All right, guys. Thanks for having me, man. Appreciate it. Been listening to almost all the podcasts. I'd say I'm 80% there now. So, yeah, it's been fun listening to you guys. So, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
That's right. You dove in, right?
Yep.
Last time I talked to you.
Yep.
Oh, that's great. Now, if you don't know Brock is from North Star Hemp, Carpe Diem CBD, and You Betcha.
Yep.
Brock, what's been the evolution for you? Like, tell us a little bit about yourself and what initially brought you to cannabis.
Yeah, so like a lot of people, dabbled early on in life, here and there. After I graduated college, playing football and wrestling, like beating up my body and realizing I can't keep doing intense exercise like I've been doing. So kind of tailoring it back and finding that recovery is more important. That's going to give me the longevity. That's how Tom Brady is still running a 40 time faster than he has, right? So kind of thinking more of that longevity side of things. I've seen how much CBD has helped with my recovery in general. Going off into like meeting Ben and Neil. So I know that both the owners, Carpe Diem, right, through a mutual friend of mine that I went to college with. They introduced me to them, started listening to like what they had to say, what their story was, how they got started when the Farm Bill passed right in 2019. They farmed over 100,000 plants on 50 acres, right? Took a lot of time to harvest that. Really diving in and like when they kind of told me what they were doing, where they were going with things, love what they had to say. It was really in line with what I wanted. I have a small exercise science background, so human body and recovery and how these things kind of interact with each other. I was like, man, this is up my alley. Looking for a change anyway, so left the job I was at doing high-level sales for a temporary power company. And, Ben and Neil they were a growing company. They needed some help, and I figured I could take some of that, some of those responsibilities off their plate and really kind of help launch them. And, yeah.
What year did you join them?
I joined them probably, right in the beginning of 2021, maybe. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Right at the end of 2020. Right around there.
Okay. So coming out of the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
being in the exercise science or fitness industry, realizing the effects that the pandemic had on that business, you were looking for another option and you found Carpe Diem or North Star in 2021. And it's been, it's almost coming up on 3 years. So for me to think that I've only known you for 2 years, but now I'm realizing it's 3, like it's been a very quick 2 to 3 years.
Yeah. When we first met, I asked you a little bit about sort of like what was your introduction into sales, and you told a story about getting introduced to sales like on the playground. Can you tell me a little bit more about sort of the transition into the cannabis industry? Was sales in cannabis pretty similar to sales in other industries, or sort of what are some of those differences that you notice?
That's a pretty good memory, man. It's pretty good. So like when I was in middle school, I know Marcus always likes to talk about if you lived in Minnesota, right? You're a transplant now.
Mm-hmm. 5 years.
5 years, yeah. Well, so I was born in Minnesota. Before I turned 1, my parents were missionaries when I was younger, so they picked up and moved to Africa, lived there for the majority of my childhood before moving back to Minnesota for a brief year, and then going to Oak Park, which is right outside Chicago. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of like my middle school, high school years were right outside Chicago. So being in middle school, looking for a little extra income. I had some candy that I got from the corner store that other kids didn't, and so I started selling Now and Laters at school. And then I started to go in different flavors, and then I was taking requests, and it kind of grew from there. That's kind of where some of my sales started organically. Yeah,
that's cool. Illinois is a good it's a good fit from Minnesota. So you went to college here as well, is that right?
Yep, came back to Minnesota for college, graduated from St. John's University, small D3 school, but I was able to play football and wrestle, and got a small exercise science degree from there with a business management major. So always liked the business side of things, kind of, how to grow something, how do you scale, how do you solve a problem for people, right? That's kind of what a lot of this is.
That's right.
Wanted to touch on like sales from other aspects into the cannabis industry. It's really all about your customer, right? Getting to know the customer in front of you, getting to know that person you're going to be in a relationship with, getting to know a potential business partner, right? So asking a lot of questions, right? Sales, nobody wants to be sold on anything, right? If you're being sold on something, it's usually because you don't want it. They're trying to force something on you. Where just asking people questions about themselves. What are their goals? How do you want to get there? You know, what are you capable of doing? And then kind of finding out if you can help them in a way or solve that problem. So I would say that's kind of some of the similarities with like a lot of other aspects of sales I've been into, and then getting into the cannabis space, especially like the CBD side of things. What's your end goal and how can I help get you there? And what kind of avenues can we try to get there? What have you tried in the past? What has worked? What hasn't worked, right? I'm asking a lot more questions usually than answering them at first to kind of get to know people. And then that really kind of lays the platform of, okay, where do we go from here?
And when you got started, what was the product mix like at Carpe Diem? When you first started versus now you're far more evolved into the THC side. But when you were first starting to sell, what products were you selling?
A lot of topicals right away. That's a really easy way to kind of introduce CBD to people, I think. Before like a gummy or a capsule or some sort like that, anything else ingestible. People feel a little more comfortable trying something on their skin for the first time instead of ingesting it, not knowing what they're going to feel or what they're not going to feel or what the side effects might be. So kind of really a lot more topicals, introducing it kind of in that health and wellness range.
Yeah, absolutely. I've heard you talk about that in the past, and I think it's important to know that, but also I'm interested in hearing your relationship with massage therapists and how you found that to be a really good way to sell CBD products, topicals especially.
Yeah, so a lot of therapists are already using some kind of topical, right, to get a certain glide to help kind of do that muscle work. We noticed some of them are already using CBD. We had a great product with our muscle cream. Has a nice little glide to it before it absorbs into the skin, so you can kind of use it without anything, or you can add it with your own topical oil or other lotion that you use. Not going to degrade the product at all, so you can still get that good glide to get the muscle work or the nerve work that they're really looking for. And kind of going back, right, again, like a lot of sales for people is educating them on stuff, right? Again, nobody wants to be sold on stuff, right? They want to be educated. You know, if you're selling a car, well, what can the car do? How can it work for me? How does it operate? You want to learn something about something before you buy it, right? You want to learn, how am I going to use this? You want to figure out the ins and outs of it, right? So then you're not being sold. You're making an educated decision. So kind of we've actually started working with some health science universities right here in Minnesota, as well as Illinois and Florida, and hopefully soon Iowa. Really, again, getting in front of the education stuff. What is this? How does it interact with the body? Where does it come from? How do you tell what good products are? How do I read a label? Right? Even just those simple things. Even if you don't use the products, do you know what it is? Do you know how to read a label? Or are you just going to listen to somebody next to you and just take their word for it?
Yeah, I think it comes through the exercise science part of your background. I think you really take a nice approach to CBD science and trying to get people to understand the endocannabinoid system. And you've given presentations on the ECS. Can you share a little bit more about who you've been presenting to and what you've been working on?
Yeah, so we've actually just came back from the NFL Combine for the Chiropractic Association. It was one of the first CBD companies able to be a part of it and be a vendor there and educate all the team doctors. I mean, they all have their own practice too outside of being a team doctor. That actually led us to being accepted into the baseball chiropractic society and the hockey one. So really kind of making these big jumps again with that health and wellness aspect. Who wants to recover more than pro athletes, right? That's 90% of their job, right? Is to stay healthy so they can keep performing.
And in some leagues, they are not allowed to use those products. Yeah, that's really too bad.
Yeah, like the NFL, they still drug test for THC. They know when it's going to happen. It's just once a year. And then in the off season, there's no drug testing until that specific date again, which I think is like the beginning of the preseason. And then after that, it's more performance enhancing drugs like steroids and things like that.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things that athletes use, but unfortunately, THC is not one of them.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about how that stigma has changed around athletes in the time that you've sort of been aware of cannabis or been in sales? I think oftentimes we think of, athletes as using cannabis, but maybe not using it compliantly, but having a legal route to be able to know what they're purchasing and how it affects their body. I mean, tell us a little bit more about the time that you've been in the industry and that shift.
Yeah, so kind of seeing that shift, NBA now, they don't drug test. So we've kind of seen it drop. MLB right now, I believe, doesn't drug test either. Hockey, I believe, doesn't drug test either. It's just right now, it's just NFL is drug testing. So they're kind of getting away from it, seeing that players are using it outside, right, with medical marijuana being a thing. They see the benefits of that, so they're allowing those players to be able to have that medicine for them. And kind of people understanding the full spectrum CBD side of things too, right? I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of people to get over. Oh, full spectrum has THC in it. Okay, but how am I going to feel? What's it going to do for me? Wait, what are the benefits? What are the side effects? You know, am I going to fail a drug test? Right? Really educating people on that and then knowing how to use it, right? If they can use it out of season, or hey, maybe in season, use an isolate product to kind of help with certain things that you're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah. Both you and Ben and Neil have a sports background. And I think it's really cool how you've been able to take a couple of jocks and turn it into a science-based brand, you know?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And yeah, Ben and Neil, I mean, they started this company for personal reasons. Neil was born with club feet, actually. So something that helped him growing up, he was taking Advil almost every day. And he was like, I got to get off this. And CBD was something that really helped him. I mean, he was walking up and down the stairs sideways because it hurt his feet so bad. Ben, he was working for the NFL, selling big stadium packages to people, and his wife fell ill with a few autoimmune issues, and so he wanted to come back and do something closer to home, and that's kind of how he got involved in the health and wellness. And you got to do something with a passion, right? Both those guys are passionate. Neil's also a farmer too by trade. He went out to London on a hydroponic strawberry farm. Was going to learn how that whole system worked and wanted to bring that back to Minnesota.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. So, and then they kind of put their superpowers together, both passionate about health and wellness, something that helped them. So they launched this, and that's something. I mean, I hear on the people talking on the podcast a lot too. You got to be passionate about this. Mm-hmm. If you're here for a quick money grab, you want to open a dispensary and make $1 million tomorrow, you're going to be in the wrong space. You're not. It's going to be a short race for you. You really got to be passionate about it and find your niche and how you want to help.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like things we've heard and talked about. And kind of switching gears from sports to beverages. And oftentimes on this podcast, we like to talk about sports beverages. But when did you guys launch You Betcha? And can you take us through how that brand came to be?
Yeah, so we weren't the first people to come to market with a gummy or a beverage or anything like that. We were kind of kicking around the name, wanted to see what we wanted to do. We really wanted to stay in the health and wellness spot, and we knew everybody was kind of playing in the same sandbox with 5 milligram servings and this and that. So we're like, okay, how can we be a little bit different? We had some people reach out to us like, why don't you make the same thing you're doing, but like the similar blend to your CBD products?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have a daytime and nighttime CBD gummy where we add a few different herbs and adaptogens. Like, why don't we keep that going? Instead of just a normal 5 milligram gummy, what if we expanded it, brought the herbs and adaptogens, kind of that product with a purpose, right? Daytime, do you want the uplifting? You looking to get stuff done around the house, right? Or you want more of that calming, more of that relaxing? Like, kind of, right, what are you looking for, right? What's your end goal? And let's help you get you there.
And that was like State Fair 2022. I remember seeing the brand for the first time. And the State Fair 2022 was like, THC products are hot, but we can't even have them here at the State Fair.
Yep.
We can give out CBD samples. And
no. We couldn't sample any products,
okay,
CBD or the THC, but we could showcase them. And
CBD only.
No, we could showcase some of the You Betcha stuff too.
Oh, you could? Okay.
Yeah.
It was the sale of it.
There was no sales of it. You could sell T-shirts and hoodies and hats, yeah. And then we had a big stage to do education. That was super cool though. That's where I met Veronica.
Oh yeah,
from Minnesota. Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
She set up a table right next to us. We're like, all right, great. You are part of the hemp co-op. Let's get it going. Bringing people in, showing her come check her out. Brand new. Come see what she's got going on.
Yeah.
Slightly different products than us. Look at this. Like, it was great to get to know her through that. And then listening to her on the podcast too, found out that she does cold plunges. Didn't know that. Definitely need to do a Canna Connect cold plunge sometime.
Can we break some news? We're throwing an event on May 19th. It's sauna and cold plunge with Misota Essence and You Betcha.
All right.
Yep.
There we go. I was going to say,
a little fire and ice.
I've been
fire and ice.
Been saying I was going to do the jump. Now's the time. That's awesome.
Yeah. Sunday night, May 19th. It's come quick. It's not like a long it's like an hour, sit in the sauna with like 30 people from the Minnesota cannabis industry, and then jump in some ice.
Yeah.
All right, that sounds pretty sweet.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Hope that works for you guys.
I remember that state fair because for years cannabis was sort of pushed to like the outside. Like maybe you had the political parties in the state fair itself. But that year, even though there weren't sales allowed, it was still cool being able to see like cannabis at the state fair, people talking about it, having booths with like the leaves up, and like it's legal-ish.
Yeah, that was a great way to introduce it to people too. I mean, we had little plants on like little standing, cocktail tables. But not only that, people had booths that weren't just CBD oils. It was CBD textiles. People had bricks, wooden planks. You can make a battery out of hemp. Right?
Yeah.
I learned that pretty quickly there. I was like, wait, hold on, what? Like, this is real?
I'd say that, like, thinking back, like, that was maybe the end of the hemp industry and the beginning of cannabis.
Yeah, that was the big shift because people felt more comfortable with it, I think. And again, like we had people walking up, like taking pictures of those little hemp plants, and I'm like, "Do you want me to hold the phone? I'll take a picture." Oh no, I don't want my picture taken with the plant. I'm like, "It's okay. I won't put your face in it if you don't want me to." Like, so people were still really nervous, but I think they felt a little more comfortable because it was at the state fair. Okay,
a lot of good conversations.
Yeah, right. We were really kind of talking about more of the plant, and hey, this is a crop we harvest.
Right. Right. Yeah, it was outside. I mean, similar to Legacy Cup 4, it had like a bad rainstorm, like that August, September time, you get some nasty summer storms. And the stage took a hit a few nights, but like it was a great time for people coming together, volunteering, filling shifts like 7 days. I remember I volunteered both Sundays, but there were folks there that were like, a lot of people put time in, and that project took a lot of work for the Minnesota Hemp Growers Cooperative, which now is the Cannabis Growers Cooperative. But man, do I remember that time. Like it was still like Jim Erickson and John,
Yeah. No, that was good. That was a great event, man. That was awesome.
Yeah. Shout out to everybody who helped at the State Fair 2022 and 2023, but also like, I really think that was kind of a dividing time between like, okay, we're going into the cannabis industry. We're not allowed to at the state fair, but everybody is getting excited about THC.
Yep.
We're about a year and a half past that now.
It's crazy to think, come a long way.
Well, yeah. So launching You Betcha, I mean, and then kind of tying it back to sales, I have to compliment you on the outright sales push that you guys made. Once you launched, you were everywhere. And that's because you're a sales-driven organization. You guys really take sales seriously. Tell us a little bit about your self-distribution model and how it works.
Yeah, so we really distribute here in the cities. We do work with a distribution company up north to some farther territories that we can't reach. But we have a good sales team here that can cover a good area. They're able to make a good living, right? That's what we really want to keep, is keeping that good sales force going, because they can also help educate it, right? Nothing against other distributors, but sometimes when you're going to a company that doesn't know or doesn't focus on the cannabis industry or hemp or CBD or anything like that, you kind of get farther and farther away from that education, and which is not always the impossible, but right, just a little bit longer chain of command, right? Kind of playing telephone, making sure they have scripts, making sure they can answer tough questions. What is this going to do? How does it affect me? Where did it come from? How'd you extract it?
Yeah.
So
but you guys
kind of keep it close to home.
You get around. You guys are in a lot of stores. I mean, you guys really do the work.
Oh yeah, being strategic, and again, we've built a good brand with our Carpe Diem and reaching out there, being a good health and wellness, and kind of keeping that same pivot with the THC products, right? Health and wellness first, products with a purpose, right? How are you going to use it? How do you like to use it? What are you looking for? That's really what we wanted to focus on. I think people really resonated with that, like looking at a little healthier ingredients, right? Yeah, I might be eating one gummy, but I care what's in that gummy, right? How much sugar is actually in here,
Yeah.
It's a chocolate bar. Is there dairy in here? Can't have any dairy, right? There's certain things like that. So we really want to stay on that health and wellness side pretty strong.
They seized the day, if you will.
Carpe Diem. Any other questions you got, Tanner?
No, I mean, I think like my biggest question is just now that we're coming into like the full adult use part of our industry, we're going to have a lot of people looking at potentially starting a business. Maybe they looked at that hemp industry, thought it wasn't the time for them, but now licensure, that's their go-to. What advice do you have for people as they're potentially considering entering the cannabis industry for the first time here in the state?
besides listening to this podcast, first and foremost, right?
Appreciate that.
Definitely stay up with the law, what's going on with that. If you're going to get into a business, think about what business you want to be and how you want to reach your customers and what are you passionate about, right? Even if it's a small little niche, you'll be able to fit. There's tons of breweries out here. They're all doing well. There can be tons of cannabis companies out here. We can all have our niche. We can all kind of find our different positioning. That'd be the biggest one, yeah. And build a team.
Right.
You can't do this by yourself. We say it all the time in the office, win together. You got to win together. You got to find good partnerships. Some are going to go good, some aren't. But, right, you learn, you grow, right? This podcast started small, I'm assuming, right? And then now how many of you got 4 mics here, cameras, lights? Like, you got to start somewhere and grow, right? But use that stepping stone, right, and keep growing.
I love that.
Hashtag keep growing is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Brock, we're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to try some products and talk a little bit more about you and your brand.
Let's do it.
Oh, it's getting cutthroat now.
Hey guys, what are you up to?
Oh, we're just practicing for the Canna Connect 4 tournament, getting ready.
The Canna Connect 4 tournament? What are you talking about?
Yeah, it's the expo. All the brands are going to get together. They're going to compete in Connect 4. We want to show that we're the best in the industry, so we're practicing. And Marcus is getting really good.
Like Northern Lights, like you guys think Canna Connect 4 is like a Connect 4
Connect
tournament?
4!
Oh! Guys, Canna Connect 4 is a conference and expo. It's not a Connect 4 tournament. We're bringing together like 20 to 25 brands to give out like samples and education and knowledge about the Minnesota cannabis industry. It has nothing to do with Connect 4.
But we just haven't heard anything about it.
That's my fault, and I apologize. But we're getting the word out about Canna Connect 4 starting today, and tickets are on sale. In fact, I'm giving away 150 free tickets. Like, you guys got to get your tickets quick.
Oh,
Yeah.
guess we should stop practicing and go get our tickets?
Let's get the hell out of here and grab our tickets.
All right, let's go.
April 5th through the 7th, Modest Brewing and the Wilderness. Get your tickets online, cannaconnectmn.com.
All right, and we're back. So during the second part, I'm really excited. We're going to be sampling some of your products. So Brock, tell us a little bit about what you brought with you today.
So I'll start off with the new gummies we just launched. We have our new daytime You Betcha gummies. So we're adding an exclusive blend of lion's mane, cordyceps with 5 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBG, and 5 milligrams of CBD. So that real full spectrum feel. Our flavors, we have 2 flavors in a pack, Strawberry-Kiwi and then Pineapple-Habanero. Spice things up a little bit.
Let's open them up.
Yeah, let's go ahead and bust that one open. Honestly, both of them sound super interesting to me.
I'm excited to know, like,
what.
I'm excited to, like, pull one out and then probably have to try the other one, too.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
bite half of each.
viewers of this show will know that I'm terrible at these child-safe packaging. They keep children out, but also
Oh, they're
Tanner.
adult, they're
All right,
adult,
go.
they're adult proof.
Yeah.
They're
All right,
tough.
there we go. Ooh, all right. So the yellow one, I assume, is that Pineapple-Habanero. All right. I think I'm going to start with that one here.
So one thing we learned recently is that Boveda is exploring gummy packs in hopes of, like, providing, like, the ability for these not to get, like, stuck together or clump. Boveda is like, oh, we can fix that, too.
So like lining the package with something. The package would be made out of something that
It's sort of like
would
the
do that.
silica packets that
Yeah.
go sometimes in there. It would be one that you just slip right in. It would be perfectly made to keep gummies at 69% humidity.
Yeah, like a Boveda gummy pack.
Nice.
I feel like I was just recently editing that one. All right, so here we go. Pineapple-Habanero.
Juicy right away.
Mm-hmm.
Soft pineapple. Ooh, it's nice, though. It reminds me of pineapple.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that after flavor, the little bit of heat that you get. That's good. I
Bump
didn't
that.
get it on the like that first bite. It's super strong with the pineapple, and then that heat sort of settles in. I like that one. That's good.
That's a wonderful gummy. Oh, there it is. I hadn't caught it yet.
Yeah. It's just right at the end, and I think that's super cool.
It's a little
I love that.
subtle, yeah.
Yeah.
And just 2.5 grams of sugar. Oh, that's great. That's great. That's great. I love this. You can find this at Dabbler Depot and many other retailers across Minneapolis
Yeah.
and the state of Minnesota. All right. What's the next flavor? Strawberry-Kiwi. Cheers.
Another really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we did a good job too without
Wow.
being able to taste any of the lion's mane or the
Yeah,
cordyceps
at all.
too. Wanted to kind of keep it still subtle. So
Okay.
I honestly wouldn't have all
Yeah.
known. That's super duper cool. I love that kiwi flavor. I love sort of like the subtle hint of spice that you get. You get that subtle hint of strawberry. I love that. That's really good.
Check out what I'm doing.
Oh, all right. You got the little
Dual
combo
packs.
pack going.
This is the 4-flavor 2-pack.
Sweet. So that's a daytime blend. I like those. Very, very cool. And then you said you brought the nighttime ones as well?
Yep. So we have a nighttime blend where we're adding hibiscus and reishi mushrooms to it with 5 milligrams of THC, 25 milligrams of CBD, and then just 0.5 milligram of CBN.
There you go.
Using a sweet cherry flavor and then a sour pink lemonade.
All right. Well, 2 more that they both sound super good.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to try your technique, though, this time, where you sort of bite them in half and then get the combo flavor.
Kind of like what you do with strawberries back in the day. Like you'd roll them together.
Oh, yeah.
While Tanner opens that packaging or tries,
Attempts.
talk to us a little bit about that nuance about that 0.5 CBN. I don't think a lot of people know what the rules are there. So take us through. I know there's some controversy, but like, when did that go into effect, and how quickly did you guys have to pivot after that?
Yeah, when they were writing the bill, they were limiting some cannabinoids, right? How much CBD you can put in some products. Obviously, the 5 milligrams of THC you can put in products, but also limiting how much CBN or CBC. Right away, kind of like, why are you limiting all these other cannabinoids? Like, let's learn about them first, right? If you make things illegal, you can't do research on them. If things are legal, even within limits, you can at least start to do research in them. You can start testing them.
Absolutely.
And that's a better way to learn more about them, right? Start low and work your way up, and that's probably what they did with the 0.5 milligram of CBN. But we still want to add some of that in there. We think it's very beneficial. So that's kind of, we pivoted with that. Hoping things open up, though.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well.
Yeah, I think sort of like with CBG, that CBN really sort of took off as people finding a component or a spot for it in their life. And then we got like kneecapped, where it's like, all right, well, maybe we're finding 5 or 10 milligram being your good dose. Now 0.5 max.
Yep.
That's really too bad. But it could change in the matter of a few months.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we think things will open up. I mean, we're hoping so. Hoping the full spectrum field can kind of come back. So
Right, yeah.
Well, you know what doesn't look too bad is these gummies. Go ahead and give them a try. So I think I'm going to start with the sour cherry.
Sweet cherry.
There we
Sweet
go.
cherry. Oh, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers.
Jeez. Wow, these are knockouts. Another good one. I really love that cherry flavor. Definitely has that sweet component to it, not like that super sour that I think is pretty common.
It's almost like I'm pulling the Marciano cherry out of the cocktail and like taking a bite of my Shirley Temple.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot.
It's smooth. It's a soft cherry.
Thanks.
Good flavor. I don't eat a lot of gummies, but I enjoy all of You Betchas.
Oh, yeah. All right, and then I think just rounding out the gummies here, we got the sour pink lemonade.
One more for the guppy.
Oh, yeah. Wow, that one's all right. I think this one is my favorite. That is so authentically pink lemonade. Like, you not only get that lemonade components to it, but you can taste that little bit of pinkness to it. That's a really, really good one.
These are tantalizing flavors.
Yeah.
I always love doing the taste testing of the gummies. That's always my favorite part.
Yeah.
right.
That's what we do every Monday night
was
at
gonna
Dabbler
say.
Depot.
Now I'm going to do the signature Steve combo.
Oh,
One of each.
let's go.
Wow. Yeah,
Fun.
that's good. I like these.
So
I
when
like
did when did these new gummies launch?
We probably just launched these within the last maybe month and a half now.
Very cool.
Yeah.
So they're a 2024 new variety of
Yep.
gummy. That's great.
Yep. Wanted to keep going with the daytime and nighttime blend too. Kind of that daytime, right, feel, kind of get some focus in there, a little uplifting. And then obviously the more focused on the relaxing side with the nighttime. So really want to kind of stick with those.
Have you found that your consumers really aim towards one or the other? Like, is it more defined when you get feedback? Do some folks really go for the daytime? Some folks really go for the nighttime?
I think overall, everybody wants to get better sleep. Everybody knows if they get better sleep, they're going to feel better. They're going to feel better during the day. I feel like a lot of people use cannabis, CBD, THC, anything like that
To unwind.
to unwind and go to sleep first and foremost. So I would say sleep, but then I think a lot of people, like during the summer, always see an uptick in the day. Like, yeah, I want to, the sun doesn't go down till 9 p.m. Let's go. We got time.
Sure.
So
I'm picturing like the July 19th festival this summer in St. Paul. The Red Hot Chili Peppers are playing. I'm like, let's get some daytime gummies going and maybe nighttime a little Alanis Morissette, you know?
I like that. I like that. Very cool. So your gummies are new, but something that isn't new for you guys is your chocolates. Tell us a little bit more about those.
yeah, so something with the chocolates, people are asking us to kind of make some chocolates. We're thinking, well, let's partner with somebody who can make chocolate so we don't have to reinvent the wheel and who can do it with like the health and wellness mindset. We actually got linked up with Mademoiselle Meal through the state fair, believe it or not.
That's right.
Yeah, came up to us, kind of talked to us. We're asking some questions about it. They were like, well, we'd love to kind of get in the space somehow. We're like, perfect.
Yeah.
And kind of getting to know them a little bit. She's a chocolatier. Mademoiselle Meal means Mrs. Honey.
Yep, she produces vegan chocolate and she uses honey and Mademoiselle Miel, and she's out of St. Paul. She had a beautiful spot right on the hill, as you could see the XL Energy Center from there, and she also sells her products at the St. Paul Farmers Market, and that's how I met her. Yeah. And she's a total badass.
Oh yeah, she's awesome. Yeah, shout out to Susan.
Yeah.
Yes. So linking up with her. She uses, you already said it, honey is one of the only sweeteners she uses, honey, and then maple sugar that's sourced from Minnesota. Those are the two sweeteners she uses. So right off the bat, great start. Like you said, vegan chocolate, gluten-free, no dairy. Doesn't use any dairy in her products, and they're some of the best chocolates I've ever had.
They are, yeah the bars. Down. And actually, your bars and her bars are nearly identical once you get them out of the cannabis-friendly packaging, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why we did partner with her. We do have her website and everything at the bottom here. You know, if we're not experts in something, we're going to partner with people who are, right? It's just going to make our brand better. We're not going to try to reinvent the wheel.
Sure.
So we have a coffee crisp chocolate bar with chaga and reishi mushrooms in it. Okay. So 5 milligrams per piece, 10 in the whole package here.
You're getting me to eat a lot of gummies and chocolates today, and I'm a big fan of it. This is great.
Right, twisting your arm.
Yeah, exactly. If I have to. Oh, I love the look.
Yeah, take a look at that.
I love sort of that subtle pot leaf. You can see right in the chocolate. Oh, you can see the espresso, that coffee in there. Wow. All right, I'm
a little bit of crunch too with some of the Rice Krispies in there.
Maple sugar, cocoa, butter, oats, brown rice crisps, coffee, salt, chaga, reishi, and naturally occurring hemp-derived D9 THC.
Wow.
Yep.
I love this chocolate so much
from Minnesota as well. She sources the oats here too. She gets everything as local as she can. So we love that aspect of it too. So
she's award-winning across the nation.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, but I'm even more excited to eat this now. I feel like I was excited at first, but the more you've been talking about it, this is.
Man, I haven't seen Susan in a while, but shout out to Susan. We appreciate you. Cheers.
Thank you.
You taste it right away.
Yeah. Wow. That's good chocolate. Like starting out just tastes good.
It's so smooth you don't even want to talk. You just want your tongue to talk to the chocolate bar. Like, wow.
Oh, wow. And I got to be honest, I'm generally not a big fan of coffee in my chocolate. I generally sort of like those two. I mean, I like my coffee. I like my chocolate. This is sort of getting me to change my mind a little bit, though. This is really, really good. It's not as too overpowering with that coffee flavor. Deliciously rich with that coffee or with the chocolate.
Yeah.
I love that.
And you know there's all sorts of like goodness in there. You can kind of feel the oats in the mixture of it. You can kind of taste the maple sugar or the honey. Like, it's a lot of goodness in a little bite.
Did we check to see if we got a golden ticket in there?
Let me check.
Tell us a little bit more about these golden tickets.
Oh, wow.
Did you get one?
I got one.
Hey, look at that.
Hey, this is good for 15% off any purchase at Strains of the Earth.
That's pretty cool.
Hey, shout out to Strains of the Earth on that one. Yeah. So we like to have a little golden ticket in there for some of the winners, and they don't just go back to us. We try to partner with some people around here, like local businesses, some of the breweries we work with. Mademoiselle also has one in there for some chocolates.
Amazing.
That's really cool. I don't think I've seen that at all.
No, this is pretty, what was I going to say? Novel. Like, this is a new idea. And I think even I got a ticket for like a yoga class through Carpe Diem Yoga.
Nice.
Yeah.
Go.
Neil is a yoga teacher, so he works at the facility for Carpe Diem. He's part of the ownership, and then he also has a yoga studio with his wife. So there's health and wellness embedded throughout Carpe Diem.
That's cool.
And You Betcha.
We'll hold on to this.
Sure.
Put it right there for now.
Hey, Strains of the Earth, we're coming for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, another one we have here is a Cranberry Hibiscus chocolate bar. So we're adding, this one's always tough to say, astragalus and rhodiola. Again, same thing with that. Again, the healthy sugar to it, right? No dairy. I think that's a big part too for a lot of people who love chocolate but realize dairy doesn't agree with them or they're allergic to it.
Right.
This is perfect for them.
Yeah.
Let you try opening that one too.
All right, here we go. I'm getting better progressively, so that means by the last one,
We-
I'm gonna be
yeah.
a pro.
Some of the first packaging we got was
there we
really
go.
tough, but now we're
I got another golden ticket.
Yes!
Let's see this time.
Is it Marigold?
Marigold, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
I can immediately recognize the logo. Marigold has got great branding, nice non-alcoholic bottle shop, and THC shop in, they got 2 locations, one in Minneapolis and one in St. Paul.
Wow.
Shop.honeycombmpls.
I'm a winner not just once, not just twice, but after eating it, then a third time.
2 times, 3 times, 30 milligrams at a
Yeah,
time.
there you go. Wow. All right, so cranberry hibiscus. Looking
I've been waiting to try this for a long time.
All right, well, second to last time.
One more.
let it melt in the mouth a little, cover the palate. Here, pass me the cranberry hibiscus.
Oh, I love that cranberry flavor. That's super duper good. The hibiscus is sort of subtle, adds like tea notes to it. That is good.
It's peaceful.
Yeah.
It's a nice, relaxing edible, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
And if you wanted to dive in, you could eat 5 of them.
Yeah.
It's a great dessert.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Right, laid out nicely on a table.
Mm-hmm.
You know, taking that presentation to another level. I think this is world-class chocolate, and it's tough because you have to sell it in cannabis-friendly packaging.
Mm-hmm.
But really, you've elevated the experience through this edible. It's not a run-of-the-mill chocolate product.
Wow, your note about dessert is so spot on. Like, I think of this is something that I want to have like a really hearty meal and then be able to settle in with a nice little piece of chocolate at the end. That's cool.
THC accent.
Exactly. I love sort of the pairing. You might be able to, pair a wine or pair a beer. Now we're pairing our cannabis products with it as well.
Sure thing.
Yeah, and there's a couple of THC infused dinners popping up and stuff, right? This fits right in with that, right? Kind of that, here, a little accent dessert, put it on top of a piece of cake or something like that. Or
Right.
yeah.
Absolutely. The last one I heard was on, I think it was Leap Day. Earl Giles did a 16-seat private dinner, 5 or 7 course meal. I think that's a lot of fun. I mean, if you can infuse it in a way where brands are a part of it, but we're starting to speak to more chefs and understand that there's a lot people can do on their own. It's harder to monetize legally.
Yeah.
But that will be coming, I hope, as legalization comes.
Absolutely. But yeah, especially on that home grow side today, you can infuse everything from tomato sauce to hot dish to, buy our book. We'll teach you how.
Yeah, buy the book. Buy the book.
Wow.
That's awesome.
Wow, this is a good one. All right, so I'm going to have to swing by the Dabbler Depot on the way out and grab like a couple of these products. And I feel like I'm going to be getting 2 gummies, at least 2 chocolate bars. Let's see if I'm going to get a third.
So the third one is probably our most unique flavor. Went on a limb on this one with a lemon ginger chocolate bar.
Oh, I've had the non-medicated, and this is one of my favorites.
Oh, okay.
So we're adding shashandra, ashwagandha, and holy basil. Ashwagandha paired with this THC and the lemon and ginger, I think goes really well. You get that uplifting, like zest, invigorating kind of lemon ginger, but then you get that melt in your mouth chocolate feel. And then when the effects come in, you just feel great. You just feel relaxed, but like uplifted. It's probably one of my favorites. But again, very unique flavor for people who are not.
Steve, you'll never
What
guess.
happened?
You got another golden ticket. Oh, my gosh. All right, yep, milkweed.
Milkweed. All right, let's shout out to Milkweed. 25% off the entire purchase and a free T-shirt. Milkweed, I'm headed for that free T-shirt. You best believe it.
And that is a generous offer. What is it? 25% off the whole.
Valid.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
3822 East Lake Street. Check out Milkweed.
Cool. I love that. What I've really loved about this podcast is it introduced me to a lot of non-cannabis local brands. I've learned a lot about local coffee that's super good. I've learned a lot about local granola. That's been a new thing of mine. And man, we have a lot of good food here, and that's for sure.
I'm going to piggyback off that and say I've been introduced to a lot of people in the cannabis industry that I've heard of or like didn't know much about them, but then listening to their story on the podcast, I'm like, oh, that's how they started. That's where they're from. Let me write that down quick. Okay, I got to send them a DM later. They got their email on there. Let me email them later. Even if we're not doing business at all, just want to get to know them, see what they're up to. Again, kind of how they got started. Love hearing that kind of stuff. So hearing people on the podcast has definitely opened me up to reaching out to more people. So thanks again for that.
Yeah, no, we appreciate that. That's sort of why we started the podcast in the first place is we kept having these like group chats of, hey, have you heard about this brand or this product? And eventually got to the point that we're like, well, we should tell people about it. So yeah, appreciate it.
And we've gone from trying products on our own to having people into the studio and actually showing and telling us about the products, which is just a much more intricate experience. Like it's more circular. You can really give us more detail about it. So
yeah, John used to read the back of the packaging and then we would go, cool, now let's try it. And I mean, I really appreciated you sort of taking us through and telling us a little bit more about these. So, all right, should we try the lemon ginger?
To the lemon ginger we go.
Here we go. Wow.
Man, it tastes like Canna Connect 4.
Wow, that's good. I see what you mean where it's a little bit, and I don't mean this in like the negative Minnesota way, but a little bit more of like a unique flavor.
Honest.
No.
Like
I think it's really good.
Yeah.
It's one of those that I can't say if I've ever seen a lemon ginger product before. That's really good.
Also to mention there is turmeric in there too. So that's also another like ginger and turmeric are very strong scents and tastes. Mm-hmm. So again, with that lemon and ginger in there, kind of like trying to overcome it. It's that vibrant feel, but yeah, you got to be ready for it. It's a different kind of, people don't really associate, right, lemon and ginger in their chocolate.
Sure.
Right, so you got to kind of think, a little bit different.
Lemon, ginger, and I mean, turmeric as well. I mean, you'd really be throwing people for a loop if they knew that ahead of time, but it's a great flavor. The turmeric's kind of sitting in the back of my mouth, and I like that. I'm honestly, I might be off 35 milligrams, but I mean, think how many herbs and adaptogens I've tried tonight.
Oh, for reals. Wow. You have, I mean, I feel like we have people in the podcast studio sometimes that bring us like one really, really great product, and we love that. I feel like we have sometimes people that come in and say, hey, I've got some really great products, but sample this one. You brought us in a full spread of 5 just knockout products from the gummies to the chocolates. I'd buy any of these.
And shout out to this one too, right? Brock brought us a 4-pack from 9 Mile Brewing Company. Looks like You Betcha had a hand in producing some of the THC for the product, maybe the CBD as well.
Yeah, we supplied the THC and CBD nano for them.
That's right.
We help them with the recipe if they need it and labeling requirements so they stay compliant.
It's a big one.
Yep. But yeah, John, head brewer over there, did a really good job. I listened to the podcast and I hear you guys like terpenes, and I wanted you guys to try that drink. It's got some really good terpenes in there, really good flavor. So yeah, I got you guys a 4-pack to split. So
we appreciate it. Come into a episode near you.
Thanks, Brock.
Absolutely.
Wow. Well, truly, thank you so much for coming in today. For people wanting to try your products, obviously they can come to the Dabbler Depot. But if they're wanting to learn a little bit more about you or follow along, where would you send them online?
Yeah, Instagram's always good. Carpe Diem Health and Wellness, and then You Betcha Canna on Instagram. Give us a follow. Always hit up our websites too. Have any questions, please reach out to us. Love answering questions. Love doing events for people. If people have pop-ups coming up, we always love to try to support where we can. So hit us up. We know April's right around the corner, so I'm sure there'll be plenty of events at the end of April. But yeah, love to be a part of them.
Sweet. Awesome.
Actually, Brock, this episode's coming out really soon, so we'll see you at Canna Connect.
Let's go. Yeah, we'll see you at Canna Connect, getting that started.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Brock, you didn't talk about it on the podcast, but you're working to cross over into serving the medical market in unique ways through CBD products. Tell me about how slow is that process? Like the details that you are required to provide.
Yeah, working with any kind of big health facilities, right? Or any kind of research in general, right? If it's illegal, it's really hard to do research on it because you have to get the product, right, illegally. So now that it's legal here in Minnesota, they can start opening up those doors to that research because more is available to them. It's slow because depending if you want it to be like an FDA approved trial, which is what we would love to have.
That's what you'd like, right?
Yeah, so it's an FDA approved trial, so they'll see it. So they'll see the results of something as, okay, it's going in the right direction. Whether it's for like chemo brain, right, bringing down some of that brain fog, some of that clarity, just inflammation, or if it's a topical to help with like chemotherapy-induced neuropathy, right, or things like that, or even like for sleep. Right, again, kind of what comes first, the chicken or the egg, right? Sleep. If you can get good sleep, are you going to feel better during the day and have less pain? If you have less pain, are you going to get better sleep? If you get better sleep, are you going to be less anxious? If you're less anxious, are you going to get better sleep? Right, just kind of this circle. It's like, where does it really start? Well, it has to start somewhere. And I think if we can really get some research behind it, that is approved and seen and deemed and done by a reputable source, right?
Yeah.
That everybody would, kind of listen to or fall behind. Now we're going in the right direction and we can start, okay, this study, the way it was done, worked well this way. Let's take this portion out and then add it to another study, and keeping all of those products the same, right? A lot of studies are done that are spread across the nation. Let's say everybody's using a CBD topical, but they're using their own topical they bought from God knows where, right? So
that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, if you were to be able to do these studies, what products from Carpe Diem would you use?
I'd love to use a 5,000 milligram CBD full spectrum tincture. Full dropper, right? Really kind of helping with.
So they call that, with the minor cannabinoids, they call that trace amounts of minor cannabinoids.
Yep. So true. Yeah. So full spectrum, right? That full plant in a bottle. That's when you get that 0.3% THC. But
how is that
predominantly
balanced
CBD?
Out? Okay, predominantly CBD, and that comes from the hemp plants that you grew, and just naturally full spectrum without changing the plant, without altering it too much. It falls underneath 0.3 THC. Period.
Yep, and you'll get other cannabinoids like CBG, CBN, things like that.
Delta 8 is in there.
Yep. The last 2 years, we've grown CBG dominant plants.
Right.
So that's nice because now we get to play more with CBG because we have more abundance of it. We can make a few more different products that we didn't have before and kind of expand that product line and expand into different testing. With like a topical, definitely use the muscle cream, our 1,500 milligram in a 2-ounce jar. Really soothing, but absorbs really well. Can be used a lot with like Graston techniques. If you don't know what Graston is, if you've ever seen like a funny metal shape object that people are kind of rubbing on themselves, a lot of athletes will use it, or like chiropractors or physical therapists. If you're using the cream as an emollient, you're kind of helping with some of that irritation that comes with it. It doesn't feel very good to have somebody rub a piece of metal on your muscle to, right, release some of that blood flow or like just again, releasing some of like maybe feel a calcium buildup or something.
Yep.
It's kind of using those like a topical to kind of help with the after effects of that, right? Whether it's that pain reduction or like inflammation.
Sure. I'd be interested in a CBG topical at a high milligram rate. I think that'd be really interesting. And I know your products are geared for performance and relaxation. Is there anything else you'd like to share about where you'd like to see Carpe Diem in the next 5 years?
So something else we're kind of launching too with the education side of things is we're working with, it's a survey-based app. It's a HIPAA-approved app, so we don't see any personal information. We just get to see numbers. For an example, let's use a topical. So we'd have like a QR code. You take a picture of this QR code right before you use the topical. And let's say you have neck pain, hurts at a 10. I can't sleep. It's chronic. It's been happening the last couple days. It really bothers me at work. Okay. Going to apply the CBD cream. Now you're going to get a reminder text at whatever time we set. Like, so let's say if it's a massage session, right, 1 hour after that, So you get your CBD massage. Now when you get off the table, you'll get that reminder, hey, Steven, remember when you had that neck pain at a level 10 and it really hurts to, you can't sleep very well and you just use that CBD cream on your neck? Well, do you still have pain? Yes or no?
Yes.
And then, well, what level is your pain at now? Because remember, before it was at a 10. So what's it at now?
Like a 4.
Okay, so you're getting better, but you still have pain, right? If pain gone, if it's, that question, right? Do you still have pain? Yes or no? Well, yeah, I still have it, but it's to what degree, right? Now it's at a level 4. Yeah, my neck still kind of hurts, but I'm not thinking about it all day. I can talk on the phone. I can be on a podcast, and it's not, harming my way of life or like harming me at work to where I can't focus and work. So like, I have to go home.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, I had some Carpe Diem CBD lotion in my car on Saturday night, and I was sore driving home from Brainerd, and I'm like administering that easy to glide lotion on the back while I'm like just driving, because honestly, like the pressure that you feel here after a long day, you really want to relieve that.
Oh yeah, everybody carries so much tension in their neck, whether you like know it or not, and yeah, it really makes a difference. But what's nice about that QR code though is we'll be able to get that information. Again, we won't see anybody's personal information, but now I'll see that somebody had neck pain at level 10 after using the CBD cream and a massage, dropped their pain level by 60%.
Yep.
So now you, as a user, will also get that data. You'll also get your results. Hey, your pain level was at this, and now it's at this. You decreased your neck pain by 60% after using some of that CBD cream in that session. Not only do you see it, but now some of those providers can see it. They can see what's working. Hey, the patients that are using CBD cream twice a day on their neck after a session, they are getting better by 50%, right? Or dropping their symptoms by 50%.
Yep.
Okay, or people getting Graston techniques are recovering and feeling less pain by 30%. Okay, so now we can start doing kind of side-by-side studies with and without CBD topicals or with or without a CBD gummy or something. And now we can start collecting data to use, right? So that's another big part there, something that we're really excited to kind of keep launching on that educational. Again, it takes time. We want to do things the right way. I don't want to have to go back and do something twice, right? Especially with growing a business. I mean, Ben and Neil know this the most, right? Sometimes you buy labels and the barcodes aren't right, or like, this was misspelled. How did we miss that? We got a graveyard full of labels, and as a small business, you don't want to waste money, right? So really knowing what you're doing, taking your time. I've heard this quote before. It's just funny who it comes from. Conor McGregor, if anybody watches UFC or MMA, but slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. And that resonated with me so much. And I'm like, that makes so much sense, right? If you just take your time and kind of slow things down, you feel like you're moving slow, but you're not. You're like water. You're just kind of flowing through it, right? And so take that into your business too, right? Do it the right way. Double check everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast.
Yeah.
Brock, great to see you.
Absolutely, brother. Thanks for having me.
We'll be back next week with another episode from the Northern Lights Podcast.
Love it.
Do you want to take the break?
And we're back. No.
Okay.
No,
I got it.
No, I totally get it.
Okay, good.